Hello and welcome back to my YouTube. So with this video, I'm going to be talking about my 1 year transformation. Now, it has been roughly a year since I decided, first of all, started my off season and also decided to go down the assisted route of anabolic steroids. Now, the reason behind this is I decided I really wanted to pursue my goal of being an IFBB pro, and the use of anabolic steroids was a necessity to help me get there. Now, it's important to really point out that the steroids weren't the only thing contributing to my progress. So anyone who's watching this thinking, right, all I need to do is jab a bit of gear, and then I can make similar progress, then, that's not right. I have done multiple things in regards to trying to make as much progress as possible. So yes, taking anabolic steroids was one of them, and also, things like I've never ever put so much emphasis on, the variables of eating in a good, sensible surplus, training in progressive overload manner, really trying to put emphasis on that, logging and trying to just really focus on increasing my lifts and also really focusing on the execution of the lifts. Now, I would say that is quite a big contributing factor of my progress, is the execution of the lifts. But before I go into the exercises and how my exercises have improved, I'm going to show you, I'm going to discuss what cycles I've been on and how I've found them. So my initial cycle was, so the photo on the left was literally a couple of weeks after my competition prep last year, and I'm not quite stage lean. I've got that film of water, as I'm coming out of the big deficit I was in. So I'm not quite stage lean, but I'm still relatively lean. And this is when I started and properly started my off season as well. So I started on 500 milligrams of test, and I ran that for about 14 weeks. And then I came off and did a PCT, and I came off for roughly 12 weeks. Now, the reason why I chose a PCT is because I fully wanted the perspective of a PCT for myself and also my clients as well, and I wanted to learn about that. So after I did a PCT, I did another cycle of 500 milligrams of test and 200 milligrams of DECA. And the test that I'm using has been tested throughout. So I ran that for around about 13 weeks, and then I came off on a cruise dose for 8 weeks. During this time, by the way, I have been regularly taking my bloods. I've been, taking my blood pressure pretty much every single day. I've had things like echoes. I've had an ECG, just to check that everything is in good working order, just to make sure the health markers are in a great place, just so I can do this and ensure my health is, in like I said, in a great place. So, which it is, all the health markers have been consistently great. So I'm very happy with this. So after that 8-week cruise, I've started the current cycle that I'm on now, and I'm on, again, 500 milligrams of test and 200 milligrams of DECA. Now, the reason why I've chosen to go the same as my last is because I'm getting great progress off that amount, and I don't really see the point in increasing it any further if I'm you know, getting what I need out of that amount. You know, there would just be no point, in my opinion. So, for some context with the photos, on the left, I've just finished prep, just a couple of weeks after a bit of food been added in, you know, just really trying to get and recover. So that's why there's a little bit of film of sort of water over the physique. So this is November 2020, November 2019, and November 2020. The difference in weight, I was 180 pounds here, so 10 pounds above stage weight, and here I am 230 pounds. Now, as you can see, the condition I've tried to keep on top of, obviously some body fat has been gained, but this is where I'm coming from with a sensible surplus and trying to be added. So I'm eating enough to grow, but not too much to get fat, you know. So, and it is quite important, because if you get fat, then, you know, your biofeedback's going to go out of whack, and you're going to be, you know, your insulin sensitivity is going to go down, your digestion is going to be off, your appetite is going to be off, you know, your fitness might be off as well, and all in all, you're just going to have a pretty shit time in your off season. And this is why a lot of people do struggle with their off season. But I can tell you, just being at this weight, this is roughly the heaviest weight I've been, and I can, you know, I'm pretty okay. You know, this is one of the best I've felt in the off season. So this is from the back. As you can see, my back was terrible. It's still not like 100% now, but it's a lot better than it was. It was absolutely terrible last year, and it always has been a weak point for me. Now, one of the reasons why it has been a weak point is the execution of the exercises. They've just been, I've been pulling with my arms, and not really pulling with my back for a number of years, and that's really shown in my physique. And this is one of the big things that I have changed. So just to give you guys some perspective, this is just some check-in shots. So again, November 2019 to November 2020, just to make it sort of a fair comparison. Now, this comparison here is my last off season. So here I'm weighing 207 pounds, and again 230 pounds. Okay, there has been some improvement in the back shots. As you can see, I started my season with 0 back. It is literally just flat, and there is no sort of definition there, which is one of them, and you know, really did hinder me in my competitive season. So that is something I've definitely been working on this year. So that is the weight, 205 pounds, and 228 I was in that particular check-in, but you know, now I'm weighing 230, you know, 2 pounds give or take. So yeah, so I feel like this is a good comparison. So this is March 2019. This is a good comparison because this is, you know, these are both off season. Now my goal for this year, I said at the start of the year when I first became assisted, my goal was to put on 20 pounds of muscle. Now, with the weight difference here, I believe that I have achieved that goal, because I have, you know, I'm above 20 pounds heavier, but the condition seems to be better, as well as the posing and also the facials as well. I look severely stoned in that one, which I wasn't. But yeah, I would say there is improvement all round. Definitely improvement in the back, because that has been a massive area. If I'm ever to hope to obtain an actual back, then you know, I need to be putting effort in. And if I'm ever to hope to obtain a pro card, I need an actual fucking back. So that has been a massive working point for myself. So a good example of this is when I first started my off season, I really stripped back the weight. This is a dumbbell row. I believe it's roughly about 40 kilo. Not really incredibly heavy, but I really stripped it back. I could pull that. I could pull heavier at the time, but I had been pulling with my arms. So I had to strip back and really learn how to connect with my back. So I had to just start from the ground up to gain good habits and try to get rid of the bad habits. So this has always been a shit exercise for me, the dumbbell row. Like I said, that's 40 kilos. And this is, the recent, one of my recent days doing it, 100 kilos here. This exercise speaks for itself. Just taking time, focusing on the execution. A lot of people don't want to do it, but I don't know what the fuck I've done here. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to do it, but ironically, by taking a step back with the load, I was able to make more progressions. And some people will go, that's just the steroids. I can pretty much guarantee if I hadn't have fixed my execution and exercises, it would have been the same story. Yes, my back would have improved, but not as much as it had done. And like I said, it would have been the same story. So my arms would have been blowing up, and my back still would have looked flat. And it still would have looked drastically behind in my physique. So the same shit would have happened. I just would have been bigger. So I would have had the same physique. And I'm trying to change the physique I have by adding more balance, by bringing up my back. So another thing I've added is exercise selection. So I started with adding in some deadlifts. As you can see here, it is not really a massive deadlift. It is 80 kilos. This is, I didn't do hip hinges for a long time, for a few years. And again, this showed in my back, there wasn't really much density in the erectors, glutes, and hamstrings. And the reason why I hadn't been doing hip hinges is because I do have a dodgy lower back, which tends to tweak and tends to just get injured quite easily. So I try to stay away from it. But I deem them as essential to really contribute to bringing up my back thickness. So what I did here was I, again, just started from the ground up and really tried to work on the execution. So, here is a set that I did, a couple of months back. This is 210. This is an RDL. And as you can see here, I'm able to do this. The irony of it is I'm able to do this with less pain than I had doing the 80 kilo. So it is, it's a lot better now. I spent a lot more time just really trying to focus on, trying to bring up this lift. It's still not incredibly strong. This is one of my weakest lifts, but, within a year, I'm happy with that sort of progress. I'm hoping to continue that progress. My hack squat has been one of the biggest things to progress. It really has, so this is what I started on. The execution wasn't really bang on. Yes, the depth was there. Maybe just a tad quick on the way down, not really bracing. So the point I'm trying to make with this is I didn't start off incredible, and I really had to take a step back and think about my goal and how I could do everything towards my goal, and changing up how I approach exercises and my exercise selection was very important to contribute towards this. And this is one of my most recent videos of the hack squat. This is 8 plates a side. So really here, what I'm trying to do is keep constant tension and nice, decent eccentric. You know, it could be a tad slower, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, I've really tried to focus on the execution as well as trying to bring up the weight as much as possible. But I will only up the weight if my execution is pretty much bang on. You know, so continuous reps to keep constant tension on the quads. And finally, the last lift progression I'm going to show you guys is the dumbbell press. So this is about 40 kilos. You know, again, just stripping it back, just making sure, because I did have some issues with my shoulder to a point where I couldn't really press on prep. So really stripping it back, trying to execute this perfectly, because I do believe some of the injuries, or probably all of them, came from just being a little bit reckless by trying to lift too much and not execute it to the best ability. So that was 40 kilo, and this is 74. So as you can see here, guys, there really has been an emphasis this year. I'll just show the full set. That really has been an emphasis this year on really trying to drive up my strength, but as well focus on the execution. So that has been a massive contributing factor to my progression, because without a nice sensible surplus and the focus of progressive overloads, the steroids aren't going to do jack shit. You know, they aren't really going to do much. So the reason why it's important to sort of reiterate this point is because I don't want people looking at this and thinking they could just take steroids and they can make, you know, they can make a bunch of gains without really nailing the principles. As well as this, as well as my food and my training, that I've really tried to focus on. I've really tried to focus on my recovery as well. So this means, you know, a lot of stress management, you know, deloads when I need them, you know, time off the gym when I need them, when I'm showing signs of overreaching and I'm building up systemic fatigue, and also nice structured sleep, you know, getting 8 hours as a minimum every single night, going to bed at the same time and waking up roughly at the same time also. I can't stress how important it has been for the progression. Like I said, without these variables put in place, my transformation would not be the same if I was to just take steroids. And also, you know, the approach to the anabolics has been in a manner where my health has been a priority, where I haven't been too aggressive with upping the gear, and I've been consistently monitoring the health markers as well. So that is pretty much a nice run through of my transformation, how I have made the transformation, and you know what the transformation also looks like. The goal is to try to repeat that for next year, this year coming, so 2021. These principles are going to be focused on again, but you know, improved where they can be, and also I'm going to try to put on roughly the same amount of muscle if I can. I'm going to try my fucking hardest to make sure I can. This will put me hopefully in a great place to compete in 2022. Now I'll only compete if I deem my physique, you know, worthy enough to potentially obtain a pro card, because that is the goal, and I will wait until I am ready. And I will just fucking, yeah, I will just work until that is the case. So I'm going to just carry on working. I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing. And I'm just going to get my head down. This is the most focused I've ever been on bodybuilding in my life. I think it's safe to say all my eggs are in this basket. And I'm going to try to make this dream that I have a reality. And you know, this is the road to pro. This series is a road to pro, so I'll continue to document the whole process. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it has been insightful for you and given you some perspective on how you can work on your own progressions, whether you're assisted or not assisted. I believe there is some value for either side. And, you know, if you've got any ideas of what content you would like to see, then please let me know in the comment section below, or drop me a message on Instagram. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll catch you later.